Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my honoured colleague for his comments. I agree with many of the things that he said. I just returned from a Foreign Affairs Committee trip to Europe and would turn on the European news whenever I could. And it was quite sad, really, to see them starting to refer not to the United States of America, this great country and neighbor, but as Trumpland. They would say, what's happening this week or today in Trumpland? So this beacon of hope and freedom of our neighbor is getting a reputation around the world that is really quite unfortunate. So we as Canadians really need to emphasize what it means to be Canadian and the fact that we value multiculturalism and diversity and equity. And so I'd like to bring it a little closer to home and ask my honourable colleague, we have communities across the country, including my community of Revelstoke, that has private sponsors of refugees. They've been renting an apartment now for a number of months in a very tight rental market, and have picked a family, and yet this family is stuck in the process. So would the honourable member agree to work with his government to try and expedite bringing more of these immigration and refugees to Canada?
The honourable member for Willowdale.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the honourable member for his question. Of course, if I could first refer to his observations in Europe, I fully agree with him. I think we can stand very, very tall on our record since late 2015. And that, of course, is something that has been noticed around the world. The world has watched as since late 2015, we have provided a home to no less than 45,000 Syrian refugees. Of course, our numbers this year will also be incredibly generous. But to the second issue that was raised by my honourable colleague, I'd like to say that as he is likely aware, as was stated by the Minister of Immigration earlier today, for this particular year, the government has, wisely I would say, agreed to triple the number of privately sponsored refugees. So that is something that we've seen evidence of support amongst Canadians over the course of the last year, and I think that is the right approach for us to pursue in the current year. Thank you.